What's going on, guys? Welcome to the Formula Global podcast. As you can see, it's a little bit different. We actually have video this time. So I want to introduce everyone here, the co-creator of Formula Global, Adam.
Hey, what's going on, guys?
The lovely Mariah.
Hello.
And Tom's.
What's up with it?
Finally have faces to the voices. So a little bit different. So it's experimental. So we'll definitely see how this goes. It might just be a utter disaster. But well, I guess we're going to just get right into it and talk about, Adam, you really want to mention the big news of Paddy Lowe and Mercedes switch.
So it looks like Paddy Lowe is going to Williams from Mercedes. So pretty big shakeup. And I've seen some of the news articles, and they don't exactly say if he's going to be in the same position with Williams or it looks like he might be more involved with the building of the team rather than kind of where he was at Mercedes. But who knows? Still a big change from Mercedes, and it'll be interesting to see who comes in and kind of takes his spot. But that's the latest shakeup going on. I don't know, Tom's, Andrew, Mariah, what do you guys think about that? Tom's, if you want to go first, since your boy, that was his team, kind of go from there.
Yeah, my boy quit as well, man. It's just how it is. I don't really. It was a bit unexpected, in my opinion, that he would also leave, but clearly there is some splitting going on at Mercedes right now. That there are some sort of problems within the team that have caused this to happen. I would say that we've seen it from the very get-go that there have been chemistry issues within the team. First, it was between Lewis and Nico. Then it sort of has trickled down over to the team. And I'm speculating here, but I just have a feeling that Paddy has gone because he's just tired of the drama, tired of the constant pressure, tired of the constant, BS that's going on with the team, within the team, outside the team, everything. And he's just leaving. Really can't say too much about it. It's just a bunch of speculations, but for me, it seems that he's quitting because he's just tired of things going on in the team. And I have a feeling that Nico had similar reasons as to why he left as well. So we'll see what happens, but things are not looking up at Mercedes right now.
Yeah, I think we touched on it before, kind of seeing the demise of Mercedes and the end of their reign, and I think this is just another thing that really showcases that.
Yeah, I think next year is really gonna kind of bring in a new era again. That was the whole point, to mix up the grid again, get the cars back to more of a competitiveness, because Mercedes really took off when they switched the hybrid. So I think the Abu Dhabi, I guess you could say, controversy that happened with Lewis Hamilton, with Paddy Lowe actually coming on the radio and saying, pick up the pace, and like Tom said, the inconsistencies of just maybe not knowing, having a plan, and then as sometimes it just seemed like they really didn't have a backbone with any of their decisions that they made. It was either they would, especially like we mentioned in Abu Dhabi, but you also looked at the Spain fiasco. There was big rumors that they were going to suspend Hamilton that time again with Wehrlein, and nothing came up of it, and it was just kind of a big rumor mill to get everyone amped up.
Right.
Well, Hamilton threatened to quit. He was like, "I'm going to quit," and Mercedes was like, "Okay, we're going to insert Pascal in," and then they were signed Nico as well. Hamilton was the one who tried to quit. And also the thing about Hamilton is, I'm not the biggest fan of his behavior, and a lot of people are not. The thing is, and not a lot of people realize this, it is the team's responsibility for enabling his behavior. Why is it that Nico and everybody else are working in the testing, in the factory, and this guy's smoking joints in Los Angeles? Why is it like that? It has to be. No, I'm dead serious. Toto and everybody else, they should just, say, listen, Lewis, you're going to be part of the team. You're going to do team things, and that hasn't happened. And I think Paddy's pissed at that. He's just tired of it, because you look at teams like Red Bull, Ferrari, you look at Christian Horner, Maurizio, these guys, you don't even have the audacity to even think about the type of stuff. With Mercedes, what is Toto going to do? Nothing, like he always has done. Nothing. This team does not have a backbone. They have poor management. The only reason why they've been able to gloss over it is because they have such a dominant car. As soon as other cars step in, as soon as other teams are ready to compete, Mercedes are gone. Book it. Unless you go ahead. Yeah.
No, I mean, and that's what we mentioned before we started, recording was, once they kind of get back into the grid, before this hybrid era, they really didn't have much of a reputation.
Yep.
And I mean, they would have a few podiums, few race wins. I kind of mentioned them being around like a Williams Force India kind of deal.
Right.
And then when they pushed to the, hybrid era, they stomped everybody because it was the Mercedes tech. It wasn't the management.
And they worked many years before it. They worked since 2011 on this car.
Oh, right. So it's, I mean, it was a buildup. It wasn't like, oh, we came into 2014, surprise.
Yeah,
It wasn't like a Braun kind of type of deal.
Right.
And so
because Braun was involved.
Right. And, I think they have a lot to think. I think that's one of the biggest reasons. And I also do think that, Paddy was with McLaren when they had Hamilton, and Jensen and stuff. And McLaren in the recent years, you could say they've been kind of a joke. But when you make that radical of a switch to a different kind of engine that they haven't participated in the sport in like 9 years, and then you're expected to be extremely competitive off the back, I think Paddy was used to professionalism of McLaren, because they always did hold themselves as being very professional. So I think maybe he saw that change again, that it was just not as professional, maybe some, worse situations, kind of like a Ferrari kind of type of deal where you have a lot of animosity in the management.
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, we'll see what happens with it. There was the rumor he's going to Williams.
Yeah, that's where he actually started. He was with Williams, then he moved to McLaren, then he moved to Mercedes. Now it's like a full circle. He's going back to Williams.
Yeah.
So we'll see. No, but he's, but you can't blame him, because, he's just, who wouldn't get tired of this? He has to get on the radio, tell Lewis to speed up. He doesn't do it. The team gets all pissed. They say they're going to suspend him or, fine him or whatever. And then a week goes by, and Toto was like, you know what, we shouldn't really interfere in these sort of situations and everything. And as a part of the team, as one of the main guys, we're like, really? Is that how we treat things? So you go from one side to the other? Is that easily? Like, it's just another example of inconsistency and, dare I say, incompetence of the management of Mercedes. And I ain't holding back, man. It's just,
we have the video now. You're not holding back.
I'm not holding back. I think the same reasons dragged Nico out of the team. He was tired of it too. And Paddy's gone now. I mean, it's like, who's next? But whatever. I mean, I think Williams is an interesting prospect of the future. They've been working on this 2017 car for months now, so we'll see what he can bring to the table. I think they're going to be pretty good.
Yeah, I would like to see Williams kind of more competitive than they have been. So, I mean, what also kind of brings us into a segue from Paddy Lowe and Nico's departure is, again, who replaces him? It's been a week. And there's been just a rumor mill going around. So what do you guys think?
Well, so ESPN F1 actually did an article yesterday on this and was just reading up, and they kind of went through and ranked the drivers from least likely to most likely. And Pascal Wehrlein is the easy choice for Mercedes to make, but I would have thought that maybe we would have heard something by now if that truly was going to be their decision, because I think it would be easy to slot him in because he's done so much testing on that car. already, and he did the Pirelli test for next year for Mercedes as well. So at this point,
he's young.
He is very young, and I'm not sure that another year at Manor does him good. Besides getting him a little bit more seat time, but as far as the drivers that actually have the chance at making it, I think it's going to be probably between Alonso, maybe Bottas. There was a report that Toto Wolff actually called Renault about Nico Hulkenberg's contract to see if there was any flexibility in that to where they could get him at Mercedes, which is interesting. So I don't know. I would say
Renault declined. Renault said
yes.
No way.
Right. Yeah. Renault said not going to happen. So I don't know. It'll be interesting to see. I would like to see Alonso. That would be kind of my dream teammate to go alongside Lewis, so we can see some more battling next year in Mercedes. But I honestly don't know who it will be. I don't know. What do you guys think?
I'm hoping for Alonso, but I don't know. Doesn't seem that likely.
Yeah, I have the I want it to be Alonso. I want to see a battle because I know that Mercedes is. I don't think they're going to be as dominant as they were last year, but I think they're still going to be extremely competitive. I think they're going to win, the majority of the races, or half of them at least. But I would love to see Hamilton actually go up against another, world champion again.
Mm-hmm.
If you want to go for banter, you go with Alonso or Verstappen. But but
Red Bull's not going to let that happen.
well, Ricardo maybe. I don't know. No.
Yeah.
Red Bull are sticking with their guns, but I think Pascal is the obvious choice. But he is kind of young. He doesn't really, because there's a massive difference between moving from Manor to Mercedes. Yes, he's been testing a lot. Yes, he won the DTM championship, but to make that jump so quickly, is he ready yet? I think not really, not yet. 2-3 more years, and I think he's going to be golden for that seat. But at the moment, right now, a bit too early, in my opinion. So Alonso, he still has a contract with McLaren, and I think he has. They would have to buy him out. So guys that are linked with it, another guy who was linked with it was Bottas, and he seems like one of the choices because he's with Williams, and Williams is one of using Mercedes engines. You have that Mercedes connection right there. You also got the fact that Toto is actually strongly connected with Valtteri's agency, or whatever the connection is. I forgot it, but there is this connection as well, so it would make sense for them, for Toto to bring in one of his own guys who's also proven to be a pretty good driver with the Williams. He's gotten some podiums, he's got some good pace. He's 27 years old. He's getting up there. He's going, reaching that sort of prime, age, and he has that experience in that midfield, top tier, above average team in Williams that Pascal doesn't have just yet.
Right.
Which means that maybe Bottas is more suited. If I had to pick, I'd love, if it was up to me, I'd pick Alonso all day, every day, twice on Sunday. But right now, it looks like it's going to be between Velra and Bottas and maybe Alonso, but that's doubtful.
Do you think Bottas would be able to push Lewis like Mercedes is going to want? Because they're going to want a number 2 driver that slots in there that can push Lewis.
The thing is,
he's the one to do it.
The thing is that the saving grace in this situation is that connection between Toto and Valtteri. See, if he was like an outside driver just given a chance, I have no doubt that they would just make him a number 2 driver. But because there is that connection with Toto, I think it's in Toto's interests in some way to also make sure that if Valtteri gets a seat, assuming he gets a seat, it would be in his interest to sort of make sure that things go pretty smoothly, that Valtteri is able to showcase his talent, get some wins, and see what happens, because we don't even know if Mercedes is going to be as dominant next year. I don't think they will. could be a situation where Red Bull just run away from it since Australia and it's gone, and it doesn't matter who is the second driver or the first driver. So I think Valtteri, I would be more confident in Alonso or even Ricardo or someone like that, but I think Valtteri can hold his own. It's just a matter of time. We'll have to see what happens, and time will tell. Is he ready? Is he not ready? But I think that he can be a decent driver, and if he's lucky enough. I mean, remember Bahrain when he did the hairpin time on Lewis. I mean, he's not. The guy gives 0 Fs sometimes. So, and you need,
Oh, he's Finnish, and
he's cold-blooded.
Yeah, you look at the Raikkonen and Bottas battle at Russia. That was one of the most entertaining battles of just Raikkonen plowing into him, and Bottas.
Mexico,
yeah. And then he got him back in Mexico, and I mean, he's like, "Oh, I had nowhere to go. Oops." Yeah. And Williams is like, "Oh yeah, it's fine." So he's got I like his personality. I like his drive. But then, going down the rabbit hole, who replaces him at Williams? If that happens, that could also be a thing where that could be the next step for Wehrlein because of the Mercedes connection as well.
Yeah.
So
they can just switch them, So
yeah, and it's gonna be interesting because everything was pretty locked up. And then once Nico announced, surprise, I won, see ya,
Chinese
cheers.
fire drill. Everyone changed seats.
Screw you guys, I'm going home,
Yep. And then you have everybody and their mom is replying to Mercedes. I think they had like Kobayashi applied to be as I'm like,
Petro as well,
Yeah. But I mean, I should have sent in my application. It's just
I did twice actually. They told me that they will get back to me. I'm actually supposed to go to the meeting next Wednesday to Brackley, and we're going to discuss it, and we'll see what happens.
Well, you heard it here. Tom's is replacing Nico.
But
oh my God.
I think we can go down that rabbit hole a couple different ways, though, because if Fernando Alonso leaves McLaren, then what happens with that seat? Is Jenson Button actually retired then? Or does he come back for another season? Because he said
that would be hilarious.
He said at the end of the year that he thought he was a little bit quick in making that decision to retire, which I thought was interesting. But
yeah, I think he got cold feet. I think he got a little like, it's over. And that's why I was surprised with Nico's retirement so much because, he's 31 and, some of these guys, Jensen's what, 38?
37.
Something like that, 37. And he's like, did I retire too soon? Like, so it's kind of a weird situation, but I mean, everyone's different. But I think we haven't seen the last of Button or Massa by that
or Nico.
So I think he retired from Formula One. He hasn't retired from racing.
Right. Well, maybe Jenson Button goes to Williams.
Oh yeah, he could do that as well. Go full
started
circle.
there.
Yeah.
Yep. So I don't know. It'll be interesting to watch kind of what happens with that because it's amazing how much of a chain reaction that Nico caused throughout the grid because everybody wants that seat.
Yeah.
So
that's what Nico's great at. I mean, he's a great driver. He's a great, at causing drama. You gotta love the guy, man. He's fantastic.
But as far as topics go, what do you guys have kind of next on the list that you want to discuss? I know that you brought up a couple things beforehand too about Jensen and Massa.
Yeah. Didn't Nico's shock retirement kind of put on hold about, giving these guys a proper send off. So, these guys have both been in the sport for over a decade, multiple teams, Jensen with the world championship, Massa with the world championship for about 20 seconds. They're both exceptional drivers. So it's going to be a little weird. I'm excited because it's going to be cool seeing some of the new guys come in, the new era of Formula One, but
Mhm.
it's also I'm extremely nostalgic, so it's going to be kind of depressing to see some of these guys that have been on the grid for so long, just they're not there anymore.
Yeah, I mean, the old guard definitely within the next couple of years is going to be pretty much out of there. I would say Alonso's got 2 or 3 years left.
Kimi got one. Yeah.
Yep, Kimi's probably got one left. So there's not a lot of time left before it's all going to be kind of the youngsters again.
I remember when Schumi left. I remember when David Coulthard left, and it felt very sort of wow, these guys leaving. And at the time, Massa and Jenson Button and Nico were youngsters, and now to see them leaving is just crazy. The generational changes that you see every once in a while is just. I'm seriously gonna miss all these three guys, especially Nico, obviously. But it's just part of the sport. In 10, 12 years' time, guys like Stoffel and Ricardo and Perez and these guys, are gonna hang them up most probably. So it's just like a part of the thing. But Jenson Button, like I said, 2009. I talk about it every single podcast. I don't care. One of my favorite seasons of all time. One of my favorite cars of all time. One of my favorite champions of all time. So and Massa, he's a great guy. Deserves a championship. I think FIA should just give him the championship trophy just for the banter. Just give it to him. The guy deserves it anyway. Just make one for him. Don't make it public. Just send him via freaking UPS or DHL. Like, just give it to him, and then.
Well, Williams gave him the car from the Brazil Grand Prix.
Mm-hmm.
So
yeah,
I thought that was a pretty cool send off to give you your last home race car. So
yeah,
and he also has the Ferrari car as well, I think.
Oh, does he?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah.
But I mean,
he needs some more parking space around the house,
right?
Yeah, you hang it on the wall. They have space, I'm sure.
Yeah.
And maybe we'll see his, in the not so distant future, his son, because he always posts stuff about his son, and I think he's a Carter, and he's like, I don't know, what is he, 5 or something?
Yeah, he's
5 or
fairly
6.
young. Yeah.
5 or 6. Yeah, and you can just tell by his videos he's pretty good. So, it could be this thing where his dad didn't get it, but he got it. So
Redemption,
right,
just like in The Godfather. Yeah. But yeah, thank you, Felipe. Thank you, Jensen. This was cool. Great drivers.
Yeah, just I don't know. Another era of Formula One has kind of just ended, but I don't think we see the last of them by any means. So.
No, I definitely don't think so. And I think Jensen was a little bit unfulfilled with how he went out to only going 12 laps before the suspension broke. It was pretty anticlimactic.
Yeah.
But,
yeah, and he got pretty hammered afterwards too. So.
Well,
You've seen those videos.
Nico was pretending to be a DJ and moonwalking when he was completely wasted. So, apparently he partied until 9 a.m. I mean, that guy's a party animal.
Oh, when you win, I think you get a good excuse too. I mean, he parties every time he goes to Austin. He goes to a karaoke bar downtown in Austin, Texas.
Well, last year he was really depressed. So.
Yeah, he lost the title, so he was drinking, doing that.
Oh, don't mention that, race.
Yeah, it was pretty miserable.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, all around.
The weather was good, right?
Shut up.
Oh, man.
Touchy subject, Tom.
It's really nice to have these dry races in Austin, right? When there's no rain,
It was beautiful.
This past one was gorgeous. So
Yeah, I was going to say, my only one down there was not a cloud in sight. So I'm
Oh,
good.
I was talking about that. Yeah.
Yeah, so we'll definitely try to make it out to the next one.
yeah, got to get Tom's out here.
Yeah.
I know.
Your
Tom.
Grand Prix.
Tom's, you got to
fly
come
you out.
over next year, man.
Yeah.
I
We'll
don't
fly
seem
you
to have a
out.
choice anymore. Well, I will show up. I will show up. Yeah.
What else do we have here? What do we
Uh,
have down, Mariah?
You wanted to touch on Weber since we were talking about retirements.
Yeah.
He's okay.
So my favorite driver, as well as Tom's, his favorite driver retired. My driver retired from racing as a whole. Never got to see him in person race.
Me
But
too.
yeah, and it's. I've always had a soft spot for him. I can go on for hours of how I think he deserved the title, and how he was robbed. But
Go ahead.
he did get one with Porsche, and it was a good send off. And he just said that he was actually afraid. He just got afraid of racing, and he knew that once that kind of bug hit, he needed to hang it up. And he's older, so I just thank you for the memories as much as Jensen and Massa. It's a really, really cool career to have. Those guys have as long as a career as they had, because there's a lot of could have beens. So
2010 with the strategy when they tried to cover off Alonso
yeah,
and ended up giving Seb the victory. And then Alonso was stuck behind the Renaults and everything, and very, very unlucky. And then the multi-21 saga. And
Hey, so we talk about the stuff that has gone on with Mercedes. There's no doubt in my mind that Red Bull didn't want Weber to win and wanted Seb to win that.
well, yeah. Well, the same thing.
that's my theory.
Yeah, I mean, there's no doubt based on the great thing about Mark Webber being who he is when he tells you something, you can pretty much take it to the bank that he's telling the truth, and he pretty much lays it out there that Red Bull was going to do whatever they had to do to make sure that Seb was number one priority in that team. So it's kind of the chat on that. And while I am a Sebastian fan, that doesn't mean that I approved of how Webber was treated, because Webber is a fantastic driver and didn't deserve that.
What I'm worried about is how will they treat Verstappen and Ricardo?
They're doing pretty
Mariah,
good
if
so far.
They've
Well-
done decent. You got a little pissed
Well,
off
after
after Monaco, and she was down the rabbit hole for a few races after that.
but what about Spain? They messed him up there too.
Yeah, but they did the same thing with Seb with Ferrari.
Well, that's true. Yeah.
And they were 1-2, Seb and Ricardo, and then they changed the strategy to help fight each other off, and it gifted Raikkonen and Verstappen fighting for the win instead. So
But
Yeah, but
knowing
then I
how
stepped on Verstappen's one, so I was like, well, all right. I don't know. I'm assuming they checked the banter and everything. So as soon as Monaco happened, I know everyone was talking about it's just like Vettel and Weber. So I'm sure they're trying to avoid that kind of stigma
yeah, I don't
again.
think they won it
Mhm.
again.
No.
But it's hard to judge because they haven't really been in a situation where they control the races as well. They haven't been in a situation where they're the best team and now it's, going down to the two drivers and who is going to get it.
Mhm.
Knowing how much of an influence freaking Jos Verstappen has, what's his name? Helmut Marko,
Mhm.
about the whole switch with Kvyat and Verstappen, which worked out fine in terms of results, but the ethics of it weren't smooth, let's say. So
Yep.
I don't know, with Max getting the freedom he's getting from the FIA and F1 in general, we'll see what happens. I mean, I have a feeling that next year we'll see Red Bull as a very good team,
Mhm.
and then
Yeah.
we'll see what's going to happen. And if there's a hint of I'm getting into really speculative mode right now, but if there's a hint that Verstappen is getting the first driver treatment,
Then I will
And if-
start a petition.
and I will sign it. I will sign it. But I think that if Kimi retires, Ricardo, there's a spot at that red car. So
That was my
But
pinned
that's-
tweet forever. I want if I could have Ricardo and Ferrari, it'd be perfect.
Well, and that's what there was speculation why they're just signing Raikkonen for like 1 year deals because they're waiting on like when Raikkonen's like, okay, I'm hanging it up. They have an option of who they want. So
Sure.
I hope.
I mean, when
Exactly.
Ferrari comes calling, it's going to be hard for anyone to turn that down. But
Mhm.
I really think that Red Bull next year is going to be tough to beat. I mean, when you give Adrian Newey the freedom to go out and just design a whole new car and you put him up against anybody else, they're going to be pretty tough. So next year is going to be fun. Going to be fun to watch. But I honestly think that Christian Horner doesn't really run that team. Helmut Marko does. And Helmut Marko loves Max Verstappen.
and that's
I
the
think
same thing they had with Vettel. Is
Absolutely
that's how
right.
Weber said is Weber would always get very irritated with Christian and lost faith in him because Christian would back him up,
Mhm.
but he knew he was just lying through his teeth because he couldn't
Sure.
do anything, and he's just like, why are you what's the point of saying this because it's not going to happen? So stop saying it to me.
Absolutely. So
But yeah,
I think
Tom's nailed it. It's all going to play out in how the cars are next year, and if they do dominate a little bit more than Mercedes, then we'll really see the dynamic that comes out of that team.
No.
absolutely. I can't wait till we get back around to the season because while there's still going to be news about coming with driver changes and things like that, I can't wait till we get to testing and actually get to see next year's cars start rolling and actually get the unveils. Can't wait till that.
Yeah, like I just can't wait to see the unveils, and I really hope they do more of the unveil ceremonies that they used to.
Yeah.
With the whole
Yep.
like Red Bull did it, Renault did it last year. I really hope that everyone does it because these cars, they're projected to look pretty freaking sick.
Yep. Yeah, I mean, even with the 2015 cars modified so they could run the new Pirellis, those fat tires look pretty sweet on those
Yeah.
cars. They look good. So
Look like
It's-
fresh Jordans,
I don't know about that, but they look pretty cool.
You get the idea.
Yeah, man. So next year's going to be cool. I can't wait to see it. I think Red Bull's going to be strong. I think Mercedes is always going to be strong as long as they got that power plant. And
As long as they keep their team together.
yeah. Oh, Lord. I honestly don't know where Ferrari is going to end up. I have no
Championship.
clue.
Seb,
Let's hope. Let's
Seb
hope.
number 5. Yeah.
I have hope. Mercedes or not Mercedes, Ferrari has the money. So when you have money,
Sky's the limit.
yeah, you don't stay down for long. So I really hope that they kind of pick it up because this year was, even though they won, what was it, third in the constructors, it was a dud year.
Oh, yeah.
So-
Compared to last year, yeah.
Oh yeah, because they're like, oh, Ferrari's on the up and up. It's going to be the next Michael Schumacher era, and then it's just
Yep.
so.
Well, Rome wasn't built in one day, so.
Yeah, it's true. So it's going to be interesting, and then I think McLaren's going to be good. I think you can only keep Honda down for so long. I think Honda's just got some of the best engineers there. I think they have had to play catch up, and when you don't have in-season testing, it's it's really hard to make groundwork, and
Yep.
Renault as well. I think
Of course,
Renault's gonna
India,
be good.
Williams.
Yeah, I think especially like when you have those teams like Williams and Renault that they're their own. Williams is private, but Renault's a make team. They develop their own engines. It's all that, so they have the money, and Williams has always had the money. So and Force India is looking better than they've ever have been. So it's it's going to be pretty
See
cool.
what happens.
Hopefully it's more competitive towards the top of the grid rather than it being midfield. That's what I hope for.
Me too.
So I think Force India is going to be good, but I think Renault is going to be one to watch, Andrew, like you said. I think Renault is going to potentially be very good. I mean, you remember what they were whenever Fernando Alonso was there.
2005, 6.
Yeah, I mean, that car was untouchable, and it'll be fun to watch no matter what happens. It's going to be good, so cannot wait. But all right, guys, do we have anything else before we wrap up our first video podcast?
Subscribe to our channel
That's right. Subscribe,
and follow
hit the like
Formula
button.
Global.
Leave us some comments.
Because you know what, Adam, you know where Formula Global is?
That's where it's
Where
at.
it's
Tom.
at.
That's
Oh, yeah.
right, buddy. Hey, one other thing to mention too. We just redesigned our website. Andrew and I worked on it some yesterday. There's still some more work to do, but go check it out. We like it a lot. FormulaGlobal.net.
I like it too.
Yep, pretty sweet.
Yeah, I was supposed to have it up, but my
TV probs.
Yeah, TV, Xbox shut it's just been a disaster. So I told you you're gonna have hiccups. So
Yep.
bear with us.
It's the first one, whatever.
Yeah.
Yep.
So
Thank you for
All right.
watching.
Yeah. Thanks for supporting us. More articles are on the way. We promise. We know there's been a lull, but we are working on things behind the scenes and ramping up for next year. So stick with us. We can't wait. We are really close to 1,000 followers on Twitter, which is kind of ridiculous because we just started this before the season. So, thank you very much. But all right, guys, with that, I think we can wrap it up and we will talk to you next week. We're going to still have this, I think, as a weekly thing. So
Yeah.
alternate between this and audio, and we do have a lot of things coming next year. So
Pretty good.
stay tuned.
Peace out.